Why is it that we have a Food and Drug Administration? Why did why is it the Food and Drug Administration? You would think that those two should be separate. Like, I wouldn't want that to be put together, food and drugs. Are you putting drugs in the food? Why is it that a lot of these companies pass things through the Food and Drug Administration, they okay it, and then like 10 years later, there's some fucking class action lawsuit that you hear about in the middle of the night at like 2 o'clock in the morning, some commercial, like, please call this number if you had a mesh or you've had a gallbladder. I mean, why, if you took this particular medicine, why is that when it was already cleared by the Food and Drug Administration? And in the same breath, why is there millions of different types of products that are out here that are not cleared through somebody to make sure that it is okay for human consumption long term? And that's another thing too. I just figure if things are approved, and I mean you have to do testing when when it creates products, it has to be tested first in the lab, then they test it on as some type of animal, and then they test it on humans, and then it comes out to market. So I know there has to be, I'd assume, because I haven't checked into the laws, but I would assume that you have to, for certain things, depending on the severity of it, has to have like at least a 5-year span of testing before it's introduced to a human. But yeah, I just wonder about that. I just wonder why the Food and Drug Administration is associated with our stuff. Why is it that they say that black people have the highest rate in everything that's bad? Highest rate in AIDS, diabetes, which diabetes isn't, Africans didn't have diabetes 100 years ago. AIDS wasn't around 200 years ago in Africa, but we fuck monkeys. Yeah. Yeah, historically, anybody who read historical documents would know that we weren't into bestiality. We weren't the ones into bestiality, but everybody, including black people, seems to believe that shit because a white person said so, calmly and articulately, while smiling with a white coat on and some glasses. So he's telling you the truth. Just have to laugh at that. So, but yeah, why does black people have a high everything, bad and crime and all we just high in everything. We the most out of everything. We outdo everything. Bad. Yeah. Diabetes. Should really stop eating sugar. Why is it that everybody that's brown or black all over the globe are either terrorists or Muslims or in some way just not, they're fucking with white people? So they say, well, like everybody just fucking with white people. Everybody's just won't leave them alone. Everybody's bullying them. Everybody's they're always on the defensive. It's like that little boy that in the sandbox that always telling and don't get along with nobody because he a fucking little asshole and he spoiled to fucking death, and he don't want nobody around him, so he just trying to get other motherfuckers in trouble because they don't want to kiss his ass in the sandbox. So I just wonder about that. Why do we run up in they shit? I mean, they have diplomatic talks with like Russia. And we already know that Israel is like a drinking buddy, so. But anybody with nukes have diplomatic talks. But always talking about terror against these people that don't even have nuclear weapons. And some of these countries are quite primitive with the artillery that they have compared to us. So that'd be like going after, I don't know. So I just don't understand unless it's just what they're telling people so that they can go in there and justify going in there, because those people don't want to give up their natural resources and they don't want to agree to the terms and conditions that we are want to press upon them, and they don't want to comply, and therefore they need to have our approval or outcry to go in there, and so they create some shit or say some shit because we don't know. We just know what they tell them. We don't know. We're not there in those countries, so who knows? And then we send our kids, because the people who are making these decisions aren't sending their kids in droves. We are the poor people, the middle. Well, we have a shrinking middle class, but regular folks are sending their children over there to kill brown and black people, to take so that to create that imbalance in their society, and then we all of a sudden we're occupying that area. And why does it always seem to have like something, some natural resource that we use? Like either some type of I don't know, diamonds or oil or mineral, some type of mineral, some type of something that grows is always strategic in the ones that we go into. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just wondering. It makes you think like, are they lying to us about stuff, making shit up? Why don't they tell people that things that they put in their mouths and ingest and on their skin, including lotions, are causing the rare cancers and things of that nature that they're inflicting the people? So I guess then you have a twofer. You have them making money off of the product off of you, and then sending you to the hospital and making more profit off of you, then giving you drugs to make more money off of you. I mean, like, wow. I mean, man, that's some real pimp shit. There's really, really, really pimpalicious. Why do they make it okay to allow these companies to put fillers in our foods that are organic but not necessarily something that people would want to eat if they knew was in it, like wood pulp, uh, or something like that, plastic, things that they use to grease engines and bomb people, animals that we aren't used to eating here, and by and large we don't eat here in America. Maybe in some other countries they may eat that stuff, but we don't. Why is it that a lot of the things that we eat are banned in other countries? Why is it that black people practice, by and large, Christianity in this country when it wasn't something that we brought over here? Meaning, our ancestors that came here was not Christian. And then why, I guess evidence to support that is that they banned um, any other practices except for Christianity, probably like 150 years ago or something like that, close to that, 200 years ago or something like that. So they banned us from practicing the different belief systems that we had, um, and practiced Christianity, and whooped us and beat us, and then allowed us to go to church to read out of the same Bibles that they read out of while they was beating the shit out of us and raping us and taking our little 10-year-old girls and making them with their bucks to breed and doing nasty shit. Why is it that after all this time we still believe, after all this shit and this evidence historically, we still believe what white people say, but we wouldn't believe our own neighbor? If we get in an argument with them, we wouldn't believe shit else come out their face.